we're going to be talking to Mr. Sean Rose. We're going to be discussing the stories making the news this week. Sean, what's up?
Greetings, Edrenka. Speaking of secrets, I heard you mentioning secrets a while ago. A number of people are entering Nature's Little Secrets right here in BVI, of course, via the St. Thomas Gateway. Significant numbers are coming through the Cyril E. King Airport, and they are making their way over via the ferries. According to figures from the Development Planning Unit, provisional figures, of course, they're saying that over 50% of visitors to the BVI are now accessing these beautiful shores via the St. Thomas route. And in fact, in 2013, figures show, among other things, that some $422 million was spent here in the territory by visitors. And when we look at the figures, approximately 731,000 people actually visited these shores in 2013. In fact, the figures represent a marginal increase in the various categories, particularly the overnight visitors. Those figures really show that you are depending on that particular sector or segment of the audience to generate revenue for the territory. There's some increase as well in cruise, the yachting sector and so forth, but overnight visitors, they're definitely pushing the expenditure levels as far as tourism is concerned.
Well, that's exciting news, Sean. I know there's some challenges coming through St. Thomas, but I want to deal with just the two things in there that you're talking about that's exciting to me personally. Of course, the increase in the numbers. I remember, I think last year and the year before, we were down to just over, well, not just over, around 570,000 tourists. We had dropped off considerably during that period that were being called a global recession. So to hear that we've increased in the amount up to over 700,000, that's where we want to be at least, and certainly at a peak in 2007 we were at 948,000, which was close to 1 million, and that's when we were really booming. So if we are on the way up in those numbers, that is an excellent sign for the turnaround of our economy.
I agreed, and in fact in 2012, according to the figures, I recall seeing that there were some 750,000 visitors. So you're seeing a minor increase of 20,000 people or so in 2013. However, the expenditure level rose in 2013 versus that of 2012. And that's why I said, based on what the figures are showing, the overnight visitors really, those are the people that are really helping to drive the industry. Despite the fact that you had a minor fall off of some 20,000 people.
Well, those have always been the persons who've been spending the bulk of the money. I remember a figure that showed the cruise tourism sector only barely spent over 5% of the general annual tourism income. So, then that was always the debate. How much should we invest in cruise tourism versus overnight tourism when overnight tourism is really paying the bulk of our bills? So, but with the new DAC and the new agreements, hopefully we'll increase the intake of income from the cruise tourism as well. As far as coming to St. Thomas, that is an interesting phenomenon. I would have preferred to see, have we been getting any information out of the department, the Development Planning Unit or the Tourism Board about air transportation from Cyril E. King to Terence Lettsome?
Well, I know that the Tourist Board, they are currently in negotiations with VI Airlink about improving access from Antigua. And I am sure that those discussions would also include airlift out of St. Thomas to make that arrival and that access much easier to the BVI. But I'm not sure whether there are really any specific discussions along that line as it relates to St. Thomas coming to BVI via air. I can tell you, however, though, that the establishment of that visitor welcoming center or that information booth or information center, whichever you may prefer, at the Cyril E. King terminal and also the Charlotte Amalie Ferry terminal, those information booths, they've really helped, I'm told, to improve the visitor experience even before BVI bound visitors arrive here in the territory.
Well, that was an excellent idea and a necessity, actually. I support the fact that Virgin Islanders, from Virgin Islanders, managing our tourists in St. Thomas on the airport and on the ferry terminal, the ferry terminal, instead of St. Thomians, because they are our tourists, and the treatment that we want, the experience that we want them to have, I think only us will be able to provide that experience and have the conscientiousness to want to provide that experience. So I'm very, very happy about that development. Certainly, though, and you can answer this question for yourself. As a traveler, what is more convenient, to come from the airport to the ferry, or to walk across the tarmac and get on the airplane and come to Beef Island and not have to deal with your luggage until you get to Beef Island? So those are issues that comes out of that situation for me that I hope that we will soon get rectified in the future. But certainly things are really moving up, and that's really exciting. That's really exciting news.
For those who may be wondering, the issue of cost is one factor that is driving the movement through the St. Thomas route as opposed to Puerto Rico or other options. Yes, there may be some hassle, but it is quite less hassle for folks coming through that particular route. And also, I am sure the ferry operators are happy for this, because they are definitely going to generate much more revenue, given the fact that they are going to see more customers coming through.
I was reading this morning, I think it was this morning, about the Port Authority trying to encourage
improve efficiency.
The ferry operators to improve efficiency, be on time,
That's right.
meet the schedules, because the schedules are going to be tied with the airline arrivals and departures, and we need to make sure that our tourists meet their connecting transportation. So that's a very important factor.
They have announced that they'll be closing the various offices that deal with departure taxes and so forth, and that is the Port Authority, and they're calling on residents and of course everyone to arrive early at the various ferry terminals and access the requisite departure documents, procedures and so forth, have those cleared so that the ferries can actually depart on time.
And we also, of course, need to improve the ferry amenities, accommodations themselves, that the boats are of a certain standard. They're clean, they smell nice, they feel comfortable. The whole transportation experience from St. Thomas to West End or Road Town needs to be one that's enjoyable for the visitor as well. So we need to modernize some of those boats. Some
protection from the elements. I'm sure we can look forward to that.
Yes, have some cocktails on board and have television on board, nice comfortable seats, nice smooth rides. I think that would make the visitor experience a lot better.
But if I may, I would like to develop that point that I just raised about the protection from the elements, because should there be a downpour at a particular time when a ferry is scheduled to depart, no one will be able to access that ferry comfortably. And I'm sure that is something that may be considered as well in terms of providing some canopy and so forth from the dock itself.
Have a covering from the dock right into the boat.
That's right.
Yeah. Good points, Sean. Thanks a lot for that information. That's really exciting news.
Welcome.
And we're going to take a break.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the BVI Tourist Board, and CCT Global Communications.